So if you need a functionality in S/4HANA that helps your sales team and sales reps to plan your sales activities, to manage your sales activities, to plan your visits to customers, then this is the video for you. S/4HANA provides this functionality where you can actually create activities, and the different activity types are appointments, interaction logs, tasks. You can also look at your calendar, at the calendar of your colleagues, and also do some searching on activities and the reporting side. So that's the aim of this video, to bring you this functionality and take you through it. Let's move into the Fiori side. So these are the apps that you'll be using. We'll be looking at the searching for activities, then also how you look at calendars, creating activities, and then appointments, interaction logs, and tasks. So let's start. Let's work through the searching of activities. I want to take you through this sequence. Although you're creating tasks and interaction logs, basically I want to show you how the reporting works and the searching for these different appointments. It will help you to actually see what the functionality is like and how it works. So let's look at activities. So this is basically when you want to look for certain activities. You're searching for activity types. The crosses are to actually delete, and then a plus is there to add fields. So it's quite dynamic. You can look at certain field types that you can add. In this case, it's activity type. So we're going to look at activity type and status in this case. And then the activity types that you can filter on is basically appointments. FCC interaction records are financial customer care interaction records. Then the interaction record is usually linked to an appointment. Interaction log might be any random discussion that you have or interaction that you have with your customer, with a customer. Then investigations, which we're not going to cover in this video, and then tasks. But for now, I'm going to leave it blank. We're going to look at all the different types. Statuses is fairly straightforward. Open, in process, completed, and released. Now, I think these are very important, that you manage your activity types. In these statuses, it will give you then a true reflection of what's going on in terms of activities and site visits. All right, let's run the search. So what we have here in the output, here's the different activity types. As you can see, interaction records, appointments. This is master data or data that's been created earlier. There's your customer account, the description of your customer name. You can actually drill down and look at the master data itself for the customer. There we have it. There's your customer data, all the different tabs. You can look at roles, address, business hours, and all of it. Same for the activity descriptions. There we have customer call, product issues. There was no text maintained for this one. Basically, this is then the list of the appointments that you created or interaction records. If you click on appointment with Matthew, you can go into the appointment details. So basically what you see here is all the information that was maintained for this appointment. Before we proceed, you can actually set up which of these tabs you want to include in your appointment creation. You click on personalize and you'll see that the different sections are displayed here, and then with the option to actually include it in your appointment setup, and then to expand it automatically when you actually open the app. We can go through the important fields quickly. You have a description, then you can also put in a location in the location field. Start date and time, end date and time are very important from a scheduling point of view. If you have all-day event, you select all day. Importance is actually quite important as well. There you have very high. Let's say this one to very high, and the status of this one is completed. In here you can add your customer account number. You can basically just go through the input help here to search for customers. The same for contacts. You can add the contact that you have to see in your appointment. Then something else about contacts: if we don't have any contacts set up for your customer, for this specific customer, you can actually create a new one while doing the appointment. It's quite nice to use. Then we have the employee responsible. That might be your rep, your sales rep, or any salesperson that's responsible for this meeting. Then you can reference this appointment to other objects. You can say there's other activities. You can reference it to a contract, to a sales order, a sales quote. So that it's quite nice. You can link it to a leader opportunity. So you have a reference between the different appointments and activities that you are running. Okay, let's go down to attendees. This is very straightforward. This is your contact person and the owner who set up this meeting. In terms of scheduling, you can see the date and time for this meeting is scheduled here. If you go to notes, you can actually add notes. There's note text types that you can set to general notes. In your preparation, you maybe want to add something there, a report afterwards, something about business partner information or any correspondence. So you can add these and then enter your text in here and save it. Next up is attachments. You can add any attachments that you deem important for this appointment. You can just upload it here, fairly straightforward. Transaction history is actually just how this process is going in terms of leads and all the different assignments that you can use to get to this point. There's a subsequent assignment in here, so you can assign it to a next activity, to a campaign, to a contract. So again, it's quite flexible to link these transactions and options. Change history is just to give an idea of when new and old values were created and changed in this appointment. You can schedule actions, should you want to do that, with a date and a status and an action definition. Reference objects is basically just to reference equipment. Should you wish to link it to any equipment, the functionality is there to use that. Questionnaires is also something you can set up. In other words, it's a questionnaire that you can send to the customer, and get his feedback on certain topics, and you have it on record at that point in time, which is quite useful when you interact with customers. Certain dates are maintained in here as well. This will be done automatically by SAP, but you can go and select dates and times should you wish to do that. Parties involved is very similar to attendees, just to keep record of who's doing what. Organizational data is where you link it to your sales organization, distribution channel, division, sales office, sales group. That's just to track those links, and then you can actually add private notes if you want to do that, and you have it on record. Okay, let's move on to the calendar. How we use the calendar to track activities and see who's doing what. Let's say in this case I'm a manager. I want to look at one of my colleagues' calendar for a certain month. Let's say he's on sick leave. You need somebody to stand in for a colleague. You can actually go and look at, this is the colleague ID. And then we want to look at, let's say, August, and then we select month. You can see this colleague only had one meeting on the 22nd of August. It's still open, and you can actually drill down and view the details of what the colleague planned in terms of a meeting, and then you can help him or her to go through that process. Then let's look at a create activity. if you go through this process, you will see it brings up the different types. You have appointments, like we said, it's a normal appointment, then a financial customer care interaction record. If there's a financial question from a customer, you can actually use that one. And then interaction record is linked to a specific appointment, while interaction log is just a log that you're creating randomly when you interact with a customer, and you can create a task. Most of the fields in these different categories are the same, but you can maintain different types to keep record of what's going on. So in terms of creating an appointment, I'm just going to quickly go through each of these. Then you can see that the fields are actually very, very similar. You'll see there's a general and all these sections, and you can complete these. There might be small differences in terms of fields, but in general, it's the same fields that you have to complete for the different activity types. And then create task is the same. And that's it. Thanks for watching my video.